God damn.
There it is, man. Goddamn, bro. Man, what is going on, everybody? And yes, welcome everybody to another edition of another edition of Unscripted. How is
There we
everybody
go.
doing? Uh, how is everybody doing, man? And welcome to the show. Thank you guys for joining us again, as always, man. But before we get into anything, obviously, you guys seen in the open. We just want to send from us here at NHP, bro. We want to send all our love, our prayers, our condolences to the family of Sid Udy, or the man, the myth, the legend, the just absolute um, trailblazer, bro. The man, Sid Vicious, bro. Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, whatever you guys know him as. Man, just want to, like I said, man, send love, condolences, prayers, and all the best in their healing to the family of Psycho Sid, man, the family of Sid Vicious, bro. Definitely growing up, man, one of the pioneers of big men in wrestling. So yeah, obviously, you guys know we're a bit younger, so I don't really have any too distinct memories on the man, Sid Vicious, bro. But again, bro, literally, most of the people growing up that did know about older generations of wrestling, always brought up Sid Vicious, man. I feel like everybody was a huge fan of him, at least that all the older people that I grew up around, or at least people knew of him. But um, yeah, it definitely sucks, man. We're really losing too many legends, bro. I feel like that graphic that we play in the beginning of our show is happening almost a little too often with these
Mhm.
legends as of late, bro, and it sucks. It sucks to lose them, and I wish their families the best, bro. And yeah, it's obviously something that you never want to hear. Um, it's something that you never want to hear, man. And yes, just for real, man, all the best and prayers out to the family of Sid Udy, or Sid Vicious, bro. And yeah, sucks, man. It sucks to hear. And like I said, man, just happens. It's happening too much, bro. It's happening too much. It's a bit of a man. It's a bit of an odd time in wrestling when it comes to those kind of things, man. Obviously, we lost Sika not too long ago. We just lost Alpha. We're coming up on the 1 year or we passed the 1 year anniversary 2 days ago of losing Wyndham, and now we're losing Sid Vicious, bro. So it sucks. It sucks to hear. It sucks to hear, man. As always, bro. But yeah, all you can do, man, I guess, is wish his family the best and all their healing and all his friends, man. And it's just super nice to see everybody come out and show all their love, and seeing on social media, man, all the posts that people had to say about him. Even when Michael Cole was saying about him tonight on Raw. Um, just he sounded he sounded like a very nice guy, man, and everybody has nice things to say about him, and it really does suck to lose somebody like that, a legend in this industry that we all love, bro. So yeah, man, prayers, rest in peace to the man, the myth, the legend, Sid Vicious.
Truly, man. And it's so true what you were mentioning about like the older generations like loving him. Even in my family, man, people who really aren't big wrestling fans, they've always made the Sid Vicious reference when, someone's, fighting or, whatever. Always made that. So, man is just he really is a legend in terms of size, especially with the older generations. Obviously, I've never seen him wrestle live. In live, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm here while they're wrestling that type of live, and but he truly is a legend, man, and the best to the family, man. That's just the worst.
Yeah, it absolutely is, man. I actually have seen Psycho Sid wrestle once. It was at Raw 1000 when all the jobbers came, or all the legends came back. Jesus, all the legends came
No,
back to beat up the jobber, Mr. Heath Slater. So I have seen Sid Vicious wrestle once, bro. But yeah, that was the one and only time, man. But yeah, definitely sucks to hear, bro. So if I can give a quote, one last quote on the man, the myth, the legend. One of obviously wrestling's most infamous clips, and one of my favorite promos of all time. To quote the man, the myth, and the legend, you know that I know that you are only half the man that I am, and I have only half the brain that you do. The legend, bro. Rest in
Legend.
peace. Rest in peace to the man. Absolute legend, bro. Sid Vicious, man. Yeah, for real, bro. So what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of NHP, another edition of Unscripted, bro. Welcome back, like I said, to another episode, man. How are you guys doing, man? Thank you guys for joining us, as always, bro. If this is your first time watching, you guys do not know how the show works. Every Monday, we're on here with Unscripted. Every Friday, we're on here with the news, man. And if you guys did miss this past, actually, also, if you guys also did not know, we are live for the pay-per-views after WWE and AEW with the official post-show reviews. So with that, if you guys did miss all the shows from this past weekend, Ricochet headed to AEW, Triple H seen scrolling on Twitter backstage, and the All-In predictions, man. You guys can now watch that episode of the news. That's episode 228 live on all platforms, as well as the yesterday evening edition of the AEW All-In London 2024 official review. Both of those are available on all platforms for you guys. That is Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, you can join us right here live every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, and for the pay-per-views for AEW and WWE directly after the show goes off the air with the official post-show review, man. And we actually will have another edition of those for the next, for this Saturday, and then for, the next 2 weekends. This Saturday for Bash in Berlin, and then next Saturday for AEW All Out, man. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of shows coming up, bro. But yeah, man. So again, if you guys did miss those are available for you guys on all platforms, like I just said. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now commemorate the rebrand of the podcast with the official new shirt to go along, like I said, with the rebrand of the podcast. The next chapter NHP shirt design, as you see on your very screen. You guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man. Where, like I said, you can get the newest piece of NHP merchandise to go along with the rebrand of the podcast, man. And yeah, bro. So if you haven't got a chance, man, pick up the merch. Also, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very podcast. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How the hell are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. As you guys can see, I finally got my, new t-shirt, man. Feels great, looks great, and I'm excited it finally came, man. And it's great, dude. But other than that, I'm doing good. Just been chilling, man. It was a good weekend, good pay-per-view. Fun moments, probably match of the year in there, I would probably say so far. And everything's been good, man. This week's looking good. This weekend's looking pretty good, man. I'm excited. Got Bash in Berlin, excited for that. Even next weekend, we got All Out. Not as excited for that, but not dreading it. So good to see, I guess. But because we literally have no matches yet. It's next weekend. But overall, man, I'm doing good. Like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing in the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Yeah, obviously we had All In yesterday, so just I guess winding down from the weekend and stuff like that, man. Trying to get back onto, I guess what is the normal schedule or the normal routine. Back to just like daily routine and whatnot, bro. So so yeah, man. It was a good weekend. We got another good weekend coming up, and then we got hopefully what should be, depending on what Tony Khan does with this card. Hopefully we have another good weekend coming up as well with All Out, bro. But yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. As Durante always asks, I'm good. Family's good. What about you, Durante? Gotti, my man Hunter, how are you, bro? And yeah, thank you guys for joining us as always. Whether you're here now or part of the Replay Mafia, man, my guys JT, JB, can't forget Logan and Bell. How are you guys doing, man? And thank you guys as always for being here. So, speaking of the NHP merchandise, I brought with me some goodies today as I did receive my package from bonfire.com as I have two t-shirts here. I'm probably not going to show both of them because they have the exact same design. I did get a long sleeve and a short sleeve design, so I don't know what this... Okay, this is the short sleeve. As you can see here, got the logo in the upper left corner of the shirt here. In the front, and on the back I got mine made a little different from your guys. Everybody's typically got the typical design, as you can see from the little graphic we play every week, has just the skull. Being that we go to shows and stuff like that, and we wear this merch, I opted to just get the whole logo on the back for me, just so people can read in and whatnot, and see what it is, instead of just having the skull. So that was just something a little different I decided to do. But other than that, man, the shirt, it looks good, it feels good, and it is pretty damn good, man. It looks nice, it's comfortable. So yeah, man, if you guys have not got a chance, like I said, to pick up the merch, it is available for you guys live on bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man, where you can go and pick up your own. So yeah, man, like I said, I got two versions. I was actually I tried them on. They fit pretty well, and I was pleasantly surprised with how I just it's it's a heavyweight shirt. It's a heavyweight shirt, and I was very stoked with how I think it's going to come to play, or what the fuck am I trying to say? I was very stoked with how I think it's going to turn out in the wintertime. I think it's going to be great in the fall season and stuff. So I was pretty stoked with the long sleeve shirt, and obviously the short sleeve too, man. But I just definitely, I said it on Friday, but I'm definitely excited to keep on building the long sleeve shirt collection, bro. So yeah, man. But other than that, man. So, not much Dynamite to talk about this week. Man. We do got a couple things, I guess. Obviously, that All In just happened. There's not really going to be much Dynamite to talk about. So, this episode of Dynamite was from Cardiff, Wales. And I have to say, this was definitely the most energized that an AEW Dynamite crowd has sounded in a very long time, and Will Ospreay mentioned it on the media scrum, but yeah, I absolutely need to see them do a tour of the UK, man, because I don't know if it's just the venues they're going to in the US. I don't know if it's like I said, I don't know if it's the venues and states they're going to and the towns that they're going to, but they've not had the best record of electric crowds. And it was definitely nice to hear a crowd where it sounded like people actually wanted to be there and they cared about, what they were seeing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Definitely. I think that'll really help next year if they do that. You play good shows with a good crowd, and it makes the show even better. And I think that's really what AEW can use is new markets, man. Especially for Dynamite, they really need new markets, especially in the U.S. alone. They need to go to different cities, different arenas, and I think a tour in the U.K. will do them fucking great.
Definitely. Also, not regarding this Dynamite, the Cardiff Dynamite that we're talking about, but the Ricochet and Kyle Fletcher match, that is not on All Out. I don't. There was an article that I read. And it was it was a wrestling news source. I'm not gonna say who, but it was a wrestling news source that posted it. And I obviously read that to you guys yesterday on the All In review. And yeah, so I just want to apologize about that. That match is not taking place on All Out. Why they reported that, I
Okay.
have no idea, because they blatantly Don Cal after, we got done with our stream. I watched, earlier in the or later a bit later in the night, I watched the Don Callis video, and that match, Kyle Fletcher and Ricochet, is happening on Dynamite. I don't know why was being reported and written up in an article that was taking place at All Out, because it is taking place on Dynamite this Wednesday. So apologize for that, but yeah,
Oh,
probably.
wrestling journalist.
Yeah. So yeah. So that match is not taking place on All Out, and other than that, we got the Dynamite debut of Tommy Billington. He looked okay. He looked okay.
Mhm.
From what I thought. There was also no follow up to Claudio and Okada. They went the 30-minute time limit, or the 20-minute time limit, whatever it was. The match ended and they just stopped. And then they teased going 5 more minutes, and then a brawl broke out, and that was that. And then, yeah, that was basically everything that is, I guess, worth talking about, that didn't end up coming to play at All In.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, Billington, he looked good. He looked good. He looked fine. Wonder. Yeah, it is AEW, so when you're with one of those young, newer guys, it's not really the best thing, in my opinion, to go to AEW. They're not going to teach you much. I mean, look at Hook. Man's brain was fucking fried during that fucking media scrum.
Man,
It was fucking hilarious. So, younger, greener guys aren't going to have much of a chance in AEW, if we're being honest. So hopefully things work out for him. And as for the Claudio and Okada stuff, guess that's just a side story we'll get on Dynamite for the next couple weeks. Maybe something happens at All Out, maybe not, but it is what it is, I guess.
dude. So, man, that All In media scrum, dude. I don't think I've seen a media scrum that was more fucking embarrassing to watch than. No, the Punk
Uh,
one was entertaining. That one was at least entertaining to watch.
it was entertaining, but I'd have to say that one is a little more embarrassing. I mean, you had a guy cursing out not only other wrestlers, but the fucking boss.
Um, it
No,
was.
yeah,
This one was more embarrassing for the journalist.
I mean, oh fuck yeah!
The
If you're
punk
talking
one
about,
was the punk one was more embarrassing for the company.
oh okay, I get what you mean. Now you meant for the journalist. Oh, 100%. You're
Dude,
right. Oh, 1,000%.
I don't think I've watched, man. Oh God, see.
Oh,
Oh Lord, here we go. This is why we love Unscripted. Okay, I don't see why half of these people are let back into a media scrum. Well, I know why. It's because those are the kind of questions that,
well,
AEW, those are the kind of questions that they want. At that point, don't even do a media scrum. The amount of dumbassery that came out of that All in London media scrum was unparalleled. Um, you had, I mean, thank God for Will Ospreay, because when he came on, it was sort of funny. It was sort of funny
yeah,
when he was asking, he's asking Tony Khan what the fuck his problem with Earthquake was. That part was funny. Will
just
Ospreay
love
was
Ospreay.
Will Ospreay was funny on there, but let me tell you, bro, dude, I, man, I mean, these fucking journalists, bro. So first, you and man, okay, so we obviously had Bell kind of directing us, right,
Mhm.
throughout the media scrum. She was letting us know what happened. And so immediately I'm like, oh man, I need to watch this media scrum because this just sounds like a fuck fest. And a fuck fest it was. Nobody, no fucking journalist in that room decided to ask Tony Khan about the debut of Ricochet. They touched on Ricochet a little bit as they asked Will Ospreay, "Would you like to face Ricochet?" What? What do you think he's is it? What do is
No,
uh,
no, I don't.
do
You
you
think he's a bitch? I'm not gonna face him.
dude? Do you honestly did you ask Will Ospreay that question, thinking in your mind there is a chance he could say no? Or you mean are you kidding me? What? And then Brian's out there, and they're fucking asking him, "Who do you want to face?" What? Who do you want to
Bro,
face?
I think to me the Brian one was probably the worst because the first question someone asked was, would he like to retire in Mexico
Oh
and
my!
or
Oh, I
whatever.
forgot about
And
that one.
Brian, his answer was, I have no idea. I didn't think this far. I just thought about this match. Anything after this, I'm not planned ahead. I'm just going, where the wind. Me in a way,
Typical Tony Khan.
Um,
Tony
yeah,
Khan answer.
and then basically, and then every question after that asked him what he plans on doing after tonight. What do you
Dude,
plan on doing with this? What do you plan on? Dude, he literally said it in the first question that was asked him, and he said, "I don't know. I haven't got that far. I was focused on this match." And then everyone's asking him, "Would you like to retire here? What about retiring here? What do you want to face at this point?" Bro, he doesn't know. He said in the first question, he doesn't fucking know. You people are fucking idiots.
okay. Well, first, why the fuck would you ask Brian Danielson if he wants to retire in Mexico? What? Why would Brian retire in Mexico? Like, if you had any bit of a brain, you would know odds are either Tony Khan's going to make a show in Seattle or Aberdeen, Washington. I don't know. I know he's from Aberdeen, but I don't know if there's any sort of stadium out there or an arena out there. He's probably going to make a show in Aberdeen or Seattle or somewhere in the state of Washington where I'm sure Brian will retire. Why on God's green earth would he retire in Mexico? Why? And then, like you said, he says no. I haven't planned ahead. I got as far as tonight and nothing ahead of this. Next question. Who you plan to face going forward? Who do you want to face at the upcoming Wrestle Dream in the state of Washington? Motherfucker, did you
I
not?
don't know.
And it all came to a
Like,
head. It all came to a head when I want to say it was PW Torch. I want to say, or PW. I think it was PW Torch. I'm pretty sure. I apologize if it wasn't, but I think it was
I think
PW. It was PW something.
I know Torch asked the Mercedes
Okay,
question.
that's one. Okay,
They,
it was P.
yeah,
It all came to a head when Mercedes is taking all of her questions and she's just going on and she's glazing herself and she's talking about how she's
obviously.
put all the women's divisions on the map or whatever. They say one more question for Mercedes. We get to PW Torch. This fucking guy, you got the last question for Mercedes Moné, and you fucking ask her how and what advice she would give to somebody going through a divorce. Are you serious right now?
In her reaction, dude, she she is a better person than me. Because
Oh,
I would have told her what fucking stupid question that was, and then I would have looked at Tony and said blacklist him from these things. But she's a better person than me. She fucking just goes, "You don't got a chance with me. Why are you asking?" Dude, she's the goat for that reaction. Yeah, he tried to save himself so much every time he tried to come back, and it was just like, bro, you look like a clown. You are a clown. Your company's a clown. It's just get these people out of here, man. Why would you ask somebody that question? What?
Which, again, man, I mean, like I was telling Sir K this after we watched it, but God, did I expect a lot better from PW Torch. They're actually one of the better
Well, the better story.
sources that give us pretty good stories and whatnot. But I mean, Lord, I mean, obviously, I know they have other people that do stuff, so I'm assuming that's the guy that isn't writing up some of their news sources because I don't know who. I think his name might have been Brian or something, but bro, why? Why would you ever? Why would you ever think it's okay to ask a performer about a personal life divorce that they're going through? That is none of your business, and that has nothing to do with wrestling journalism. That is her personal life. Bro,
Like, ugh.
yeah, I mean it was and then not to mention, dude, not only have they not trained in the ring at all, Hook, he has not been fucking media trained. I mean, how bad was that? I mean,
Well,
dude,
that man was sitting there the whole time zooted. He was literally just,
dude, it was what made it funny. One of the journalists ask Hook. One of these guys asked Hook, "Oh well, was the FTW championship brought into the company as a rib or a joke?" Tony fucking Khan got more upset than the dude holding the title. Hook sat back, didn't move a muscle the whole time. Tony Khan is just going off about how the title's not a joke. The title isn't recognized by the company, but it's a big part of what they do, and it's so prestigious and all this. And then Hook, all he does is sits up and tells a story about how he flew the title over personally on a plane, and then he met Tony Khan. And the last question they asked Hook is they're asking him, now that you've won the FTW title for the 75th time, do you want to progress to the AEW World Championship, and where do you see yourself fitting into that? Where do you see? When do you want to see yourself? Starting to go after the AEW World Title. He's sitting back again, doesn't move a muscle, and he just says, "The sooner the better." And he just gets up and leaves. So not only did you not train this man in the ring whatsoever, you did not media train him in the fucking slightest. What kind of answer is
no,
that?
fucking, horrible.
Oh
Fucking
my,
hilariously bad.
it was just, man,
It
it
was
was
insane.
not one fucking person asked Tony Khan, how did you sign Ricochet? How did you come into contact with signing Ricochet? How fast did it take for you to sign Ricochet? Nothing.
Anything like that.
Nothing.
What were those
Um,
talks like?
hey Tony, I know we've seen GYV on the show. Are they all elite? Nothing. Nothing about
Nothing.
grizzled young veterans. Nothing about Ricochet. Nothing about
Even
fucking Jamie
Nigel.
Hayter. Hardly anything about
Dude,
Nigel.
like so much shit happened on that show. You could ask, how long have you known, Nigel was ready to wrestle? When did you guys speak? When was this his original return plan, or did something change? Or like you said, Jamie Hayter, why the fuck did she debut on the pre-show? What's up with that, TK? You have so much shit to ask questions about, and you fucking ask personal questions and just dumbass fucking questions the whole time.
Stupid ass questions, bro. Stupid fucking questions.
Insane.
Um, I don't know. I don't know, man. It was an embarrassing for every
Really.
fucking body sitting in that sitting in that pool of journalists, paper journalists that they are. That
Oh
was so
fuck yeah.
embarrassing. That was so fucking embarrassing, dude. That was bad. That was really fucking bad. Ask better questions. And who gives a shit if you're not invited back, or if somebody gives you a sly remark like they were doing to that fucking one guy at the WWE scrum. That was a dumb question, when his question was actually a legit question. That was a good question.
And that's the thing that a lot of these idiots don't realize. If you ask a real question and they get mad and snarky at you, they look like the asshole. They're the asshole in that spot, and you and your company look better for it. So ask real questions. Uh, but they're afraid of the heat. How are you a journalist and afraid of heat? That's like the whole point of the job is being able to take heat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you think fucking reporters that are out there fucking reporting war are scared to report on the war that they're like? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. And I mean, you would think if they had an ounce of journalistic integrity that they would actually show up and want to actually do good at their job and ask questions that are worth a damn. And instead,
Hmm.
we get, I mean, dude, this is a media scrum. This isn't a glaze party. If you want these happy-go-lucky fucking questions, just have Renee Paquette sit there after the show and ask you a bunch of scripted questions that you guys wrote down and thoroughly thought out an answer for, a couple days before the show or after the show. Don't Why are you getting real people there that at least fancy themselves as journalists, and you don't want to take their questions, and you're getting mad at their questions because you're marks for yourself, you know we get media scrums like that, and it's just, again, it's just stupid. It's stupid shit. You know what I mean? It's stupid shit, and that's exactly what we got, is a stupid media scrum. And again, like I said, this is a media scrum. This isn't a fucking glaze party. These people should show up to answer questions, and if not, then you don't need to hold a media scrum, and you can sit there and do a scripted show and have Renee and RJ City sit there and ask a bunch of questions that they thought out the answer to, because it seems like that's what they want. I mean, man, I mean, these questions, bro. I mean, it was really fucking bad, bro. It was really bad.
It was. It was insanely bad.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, and also too, if these journalists go into these scrums and they get kicked out for asking good questions, that says more about AEW than it does about the journalist.
Exactly. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand the mentality behind these so-called journalists.
So, so yeah, man. I mean, that, and that is that, and yeah, I mean, what an embarrassing media scrum. Thank God Will Ospreay and a little bit of Brian Danielson, when he was just having wholesome moments with Birdie, kind of saved it. But man, I mean, that was rough. I don't know. And two, the people that they chose to be on the media scrum, um,
It's like
the whole Mariah May stuff, that whole little funeral segment could have been saved as its own thing for
the
Dynamite.
Dynamite thing.
Um,
Exactly. That it was great, but it should have been on television. That's a Dynamite thing that should have happened.
100%.
There's just like who? Why would you choose certain people that you chose, man? Why wasn't Jamie Hayter on there as a person when she returned? Why wasn't Ricochet someone who just debuted in
Yep.
the company? Anything, something.
Nigel.
Nigel, like dog, what's going on here?
Yep. There's a bunch of questions. He did touch on Nigel a little bit. Nobody asked. Tony kind of just started talking about it himself, but he he is still going to be on commentary. So he's not
Mhm.
fully moving away
Oh,
from the
sure.
commentary booth, but I'm assuming obviously he's going to be a bit more of a wrestler now, and whenever the opportunity presents itself, he's gonna take matches and stuff. And um, I mean, yeah, just embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing is what it was. And Yeah, I mean,
Very embarrassing.
so yeah, that's basically it for any bits of AEW we have here on today's version of Unscripted, man. But before we get to Raw, SmackDown, per usual, this comes as a surprise to no one. There was one thing on SmackDown that we're here to talk about, and it is the segment from obviously the Bloodline.
No
Now,
way.
this was, I can't remember what this version of Title Friday or something, Championship Friday or something like that. Um, we obviously had
Oh, no,
two.
bad at all.
Yeah, we had two title matches on today's show. We had um, LA Knight and Santos Escobar. Um, and then obviously we had the Bloodline versus the Street Profits. Um, but what we're here to talk about is before the match. Before the match, the tribal server is out there, and he calls the enforcer, Jacob Fatu, to step up. He says to Jacob Fatu, give me your title. As a matter of fact, just give it to Tongaloa. The man, the
Infamous.
myth, exactly, the infamous Tonga motherfucking Loa.
Hell yeah.
He tells Jacob Fatu, if you're going to be my personal enforcer, you cannot be a champion. He makes Jacob Fatu, or he opens his arms. First of all, he hands the belt to Tongaloa, and Tongaloa's fucking shaking his head, like, yeah. And,
Oh, yeah. That's a
and,
great thing to do. Fucking hilarious.
and, he opens his arms and he gives Jacob Fatu a hug. And Jacob Fatu is saying, I love you. I love you, Solo. What do you make of all this, bro? Other than
I think it's
infamous Tongaloa getting his flowers.
AJ, he got his flowers. Didn't even have to do nothing to get a title. Fucking legend.
He didn't need to.
Fucking, he didn't need to. He
He's
didn't
done
have to do
enough.
anything. His presence is a title enough, and he deserves
Exactly.
that title, man. So, a great decision there, man. But hey, it is the right decision to putting it on Tangaloa
Fuck
again
yeah.
because that's the actual tag team of the group, and with the match that they went on to have, there was no botches. Fucking Tangaloa was wrestling like normal, so was Tonga Tonga. So great to see. Wish we really get more of that, man. But fucking modern wrestling up for tag team wrestling, so that'll probably be a rare sight to see. But with the Jacob Fatu stuff, it to me it's a definite tease to Jacob turning on Solo, man. And I think they're doing this tease so soon because I don't think, this new bloodline, Timu bloodline 2.0, whatever you want to call them, don't think it has a very long shelf life of them being a cohesive group. So I think they're teasing it now because I think pretty soon after War Games, man, we might get the turn with Jacob Fatu, and I think that's what definitely was teased here on SmackDown is, he's making Jacob not have any titles, only just, be his help, be his right hand enforcer, you know what I mean? So I actually like what they're teasing here, man. They did the hugging spot, which if you're a, big fan of the Bloodline story, what that hug and what that look back to the camera really means, man. And I think I'm excited, man. That turn is the pop from that turn is gonna be fucking insane, and I can't wait for it already.
Exactly, bro. The only thing I would have made this better is if Solo called Cody out and made Cody do the same thing that he made Jacob do. As a matter of fact, why don't you just give it to Tongaloa?
As I
Okay?
said, just call the whole roster out there. Just give it to Tonga Loa.
Exactly. Just give the belt to Tongaloa. the world heavyweight title. Just give it to him at this point, bro.
Usually, Logan says the turn's not going to happen until another year. Usually, I would agree on that because it is Triple H. But I really do feel like the second bloodline does not have a very long shelf life. I don't see them past Royal Rumble being together, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be, relatively soon in wrestling terms.
I see. I see what you're saying. I do see somebody getting kicked out. I don't know if it's gonna be Solo or Jacob Fatu. I could. I'm honest.
Yeah,
Honestly, bro, I could very well see Solo being the one to get kicked out to go back with the OG bloodline. I could see that.
I could see that. I could see kind of Rock fucking him over and Solo being like, "Damn, I guess this really was my family the whole time, like for real." So I could definitely see that.
Yeah. It all depends
'Cause I can't imagine.
because if they
Mhm.
don't get Sammy and they bring in Hikaleo, that's obviously it'll be 5-on-3. So if you do a turn, whether it's Jacob or whether it's Solo, somebody, somebody I could see probably going back with the OG bloodline because I just really don't know how it's all gonna work unless they're gonna, unless the bloodline's gonna get an oddball member like Cody Rhodes and they're gonna do Roman, Sammy, Usos, Cody versus Jacob, Solo, Hikaleo, MJF, and and
Mhm.
infamous Tongaloa. But so I could very well see them doing something like that, but I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say because it really War Games is just very interesting. It's very
It
interesting
is.
because, like like I said, it's unless like I said, unless they bring in a member like Cody to fight alongside them at War Games to fight alongside, or maybe Kevin, or maybe Sammy gets Kevin to do it. Even though he
Maybe.
he hates the bloodline or whatever, maybe he's gonna say he hates Timu bloodline more than OG bloodline, so maybe he'll get Kevin to do it. Maybe they get Cody to do it. I don't know who they get to do it, but maybe that could be an option. They get somebody to do it, but um, I don't know. The two guys I'm really looking at, man, are Cody or not Cody. The fuck. Solo or Jacob. I see Solo or Jacob leaving the bloodline, and like I said, they're already
100%.
kinding to and as soon as he made Jacob give up that championship, that was obviously the first thing I thought is, okay, this is going to be the first little seed planted to
Hmm.
the bigger picture of Jacob being pissed off at Solo. Now who gets kicked out? I don't know. Maybe Solo kicks out Jacob, maybe Jacob kicks out Solo. I don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. But um, yeah, like I said, man, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I really didn't think they would start it already. Kind of, like I said, driving a rift in between the bloodline. But it is. I mean, it's starting. It has started already, and like I said, man, as soon as that happened, I just said to myself, oh wow. I did not imagine that they would start this already. So that was like I said, a bit shocking for sure. But I'm very interested to see where it goes, man, and I'm very interested to see how long it takes to implode. Cause mm, it's hard to say. It's hard to say whether I see them. It's hard because I hear you saying you don't think they're gonna be together by Rumble, and I hear what Logan's saying too, and the
It's
fact that something
possible.
happened after Mania. I don't
Hmm.
I don't know. It all really depends on when Rock comes back and how big of a factor he plays into. Because I could see Rock coming back and then kind of maybe if they are still together by then, I could maybe see him kind of bumping Solo down a notch, and Solo doesn't really like
Yeah.
that, to then lead to him maybe turning after WrestleMania. So I can maybe see something like that. But regardless, if it is going to be after WrestleMania, I certainly love that they're planting seeds already. That's one thing
No,
that
exactly.
yeah, that's one thing that's very, very, very nice. And yeah, maybe Rock just gets fed up with Solo and he, sicks Jacob Fatu on him. And who's to even say Solo goes back to the OG bloodline? Maybe he goes solo. And it's interesting.
Like
It's
that a
very
lot.
interesting to see. It's very interesting to see what he's gonna do. But man, they have started already, bro. We did get no Roman Reigns on this episode of SmackDown. Obviously, I feel like when he comes back, I don't know when it's gonna be, but I do feel, when he comes back, I feel like he might not be alone. Or I feel like we're getting
Yeah.
closer to that point where he may not be alone. Or maybe he keeps giving it a shot and he keeps trying and trying and trying, as a one-man army. And then it'll maybe be around sort of closer to around Survivor Series time when, he brings Jimmy with him. And but yeah, so this is how the Bloodline story has always been. This is why it is my favorite main roster story that I've ever seen, is because I can sit here and talk to myself for another 4 hours about what could happen and different directions they can take. And that's just what I love about the Bloodline stories. It's so versatile and shit that they can do, and there's so many wells they can go down. And all we got to do is sit back and hope they go down the right one. Um, will the Bloodline get anything Bash? I'm assuming you're asking if anything with the Bloodline will happen at Bash. I could see them doing something cool at the SmackDown in Berlin, but the way the
Yeah.
card is looking, it looks like there's going to be nothing
Okay.
on the card with Bloodline. Honestly, due to the name and due to
Oh,
obviously
well, feed with it.
the just the feel of the feud, I could absolutely see either a Roman and Solo match, or if WWE's really ballsy, I could see a Roman and Jacob Fatu match at Bad Blood. Um
100%.
but yeah, I could absolutely see Solo wanting Jacob to take care of Roman, and maybe Jacob does, maybe Jacob doesn't, but I could absolutely see Solo throwing Jacob at him before he gets to him. But then again, we all know how WWE is with these kind of things. I mean, look at kind of how they handled the whole Bray Wyatt stuff. Bray Wyatt came back in October. We did not see him wrestle until January. So with that in mind, I could very well see WWE keeping Roman Reigns out of the ring until November for Survivor
I can
Series.
see it. I could definitely see it.
Um, but yeah, which I think WWE is kind of robbing themselves there. But I mean, if they do really want to save these matches, the only thing about that is, you're going to have to keep him out for a lot of weeks, because you cannot have him there every week just trying to fight these guys without some sort of match happening. Um,
Yeah, that's some sort of match or some sort of backup or something.
Yeah, which is why I would love to see something happen at Bad Blood. Like I said, I don't really know if it's gonna be I don't really know if it would be a Solo and Roman or a Fatu and Roman. I don't know what it would be, or maybe it'll be maybe a Roman and Jimmy tag match. I don't know, something. I feel like something should happen at Bad Blood, because keeping Roman Reigns out of the ring for the next 3 months, 3.5 months from the day that he came back, I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. I feel like that might be a bit much, but like I said, WWE kind of does that kind of stuff. In terms of people in the ring and whatnot. I mean, The Rock. The Rock came back in, what was that? Early February, the week after the Royal Rumble, and he didn't get in the ring for another 2 months. So, um, so and yeah, I mean, if and two, I did see those, and according to those rumors, if Roman Reigns isn't back until September 13th, um something's got to happen at Bad Blood. I mean, he's either got to come back with
Yeah.
backup or he's got to come back with some sort of plan. He's got to come back with wanting some sort of match or something. You know what I mean? Just feel like the beatdowns, every week might just kind of run itself dry, and that's something that I don't want for the story. Being just how deep and rich the story is, but also too, one of my other gripes, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. These guys, you know, after the match with the Street Profits that they obviously won, they're interrupted by DIY because they were doing a beatdown on the Street Profits. The first guys to run out is Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. They always get their fucking ass kicked, and they're always just those punching bags. I mean, look at how,
Yeah.
Roman treated them. I mean, it is Roman, but like other tag teams in the
Exactly.
division kind of just bitching them around like that, dude. I feel you should, like, because the vision with Guerrillas of Destiny is right now, you should be in the mindset of we want to make this team as legit as possible with our audience to where by the time we get to the Uso face-off, it looks
Exactly.
legit. It doesn't look
Exactly.
like the Usos are getting back
Also,
together to take down this fucking tag team that's been getting their fucking asses kicked, but just so happens to have the tag team titles, but all they fucking do is get whooped. I want it to be
like,
this is Usos versus Gorillas of fucking Destiny.
exactly. This is one of the most decorated tag teams in the world. Like, they, not only in accomplishments, but, things they do, stories they told. They fucking tricked Cody Rhodes when he was in the Bullet Club into turning heel just so they could everybody from their turn on the rest of them to start a civil war to take over the group. Like, these guys are chess players, bruh. Act like it. These guys are legit. Can they act like it, please? Can they give them
Yep.
an actual tag team name? Can they give them their separate identity with the bloodline and be a legit tag team?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then two, the tag team name. Why are you still parading around calling these guys the Tongans?
The Tongans. Call them the Gorillas. Something, bro. God. You could literally just say God and call it a day.
Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, um, I don't know why these guys have been together in WWE for 3 months. Oh, going on 4. Excuse me. And we're still going around calling them the Tongans. What happens when
Makes no
Hikaleo
sense.
comes in? He's Tongan too.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives off as much. That gives off about as much identity as renaming the Usos to the Samoans. I
Yeah.
mean, the Tongans.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean WWE. I mean, they could. I don't know. I don't know why. Again, they don't give them like the Usos. I mean, they were in the bloodline, but they had their own identity as the Usos. They had their own identity, their own merch. I don't understand why it's not the same for Guerrillas of Destiny. And again, I don't know why we're still parading around referring to Tama Tonga and his brother Tongaloa as the Tongans. Like I said, that gives off about as much energy as, like I said, renaming the Usos to the Samoans. It I mean, what? That's like calling
Literally.
American made the Americans. Like,
Exactly. Like, yeah. I
I
don't get it. I don't get it. Give them a name, please.
might as
Give
well
them
call the
identity.
Wyatt family the Hicks at that.
You might as well. By that logic.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not rocking with the Tongans. I need a name for
No.
them, and I need identity for them because again, everybody obviously Tongaloa is the meme of the meme of the summer, but hey, his match on Friday against the Street Profits, he looked great.
That should have been the main event, in my opinion.
It should have. That main event was. I mean, it was a fake turn. I mean, okay. I mean, but I. All right. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, you should have ended with the tag team championship match. The main event of SmackDown this past week just was not really all too intriguing to me, in the slightest. But I don't know. It absolutely should have been the main event for sure. But other than that, man, that's just my gripe with Gorillas of Destiny. And then obviously for the Jacob and Solo stuff, I thought it was good, and I thought it was just another interesting piece to what was or what is to come with the group, man. So
Definitely.
yeah. So moving on to Monday Night Raw, where lies the faction of Durante's choice, the more NyQuil Collective.
I like that one. I like
The
that one a
Street
lot.
Trash Collective. Durante's favorite faction. Man, tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, it was okay. It was okay. It was, yeah. I mean, it was an okay Monday Night Raw. It was an okay go home show. I didn't mind it. It wasn't an insane week of Monday Night Raw in my opinion, but it was all right.
Yeah, it did its job. It was a fine episode.
So, this episode was from Providence, Rhode Island, and the show opened up with the Judgment Day. Liv tells the audience, all rise for the Judgment Day. Finn asks to play the replay from last week of them attacking the Terror Twins. The replay gets done. Carlito says, that's cool. JD McDonough says it was a long time coming. Finn Balor says the Terror Twins are the bad guys around here because they betrayed the Judgment Day and they got what they deserved. And that's the preview for what is going to happen to them at Bash in Berlin. Liv said after Bash in Berlin, they will realize that Daddy Dom and her will always be on top. Dom says Liv has helped him do things that Rhea could never, beating his deadbeat dad and entering the Intercontinental Championship tournament.
It's interesting.
LWO comes out there. Raul Mendoza's back, or what's his name now? Cruz del Toro. That's his name.
There you go.
He's back from his wrist injury, so it's nice to see him back. LWO comes out, and Ray asks Dominic if he has looked in the mirror lately, because he looks like a lost soul. He says, at least when you were with Rhea, he says, son, at least when you were with Rhea, somebody had a set. And he tells Dominic somebody needs to put him in his place.
Right.
Dom.
You're his dad. It's your job to put him in his place. Why didn't you do that? What are you saying? Like, you're not his dad. You put him in his place. Do something, bro. Spank him. Something. I don't know.
I guess he gave up on him, man. Dom says, who's going to put me in my place? You? Ray tells him that he would love to slap that stupid mustache off of his face. JD McDonough then goes to hit Rey Mysterio, and then a brawl breaks out, thus leading to the opening match to Monday Night Raw, which was Judgment Day versus LWO, which maybe this is what felt a little odd, but this was a bit of a weak start. It was a bit of a weak start to Raw. Not that the match was bad. It was just, LWO. Got it.
Hey, exactly, man. It's like, and when they were coming out, I was thinking about this, about the LWO. The World Order thing, whether it's New World Order, obviously LWO, Tino, not the other one, the World Order. The whole point of that type of group is to be bad guys. You know what I mean? A face, whatever World Order, does not work for me. I think that
No.
negates the whole purpose of that type of faction, and I don't like the LWO. And an LWO and NWO, they have to be heels. They have to be trying to run shit. They have to be, trying to be in charge and whatnot. And as baby faces, as a faction, they just don't do it for me.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean the group. Um, I think when they first got together, I think people were a little interested. It was new again. What was old, what is old was became new again, and
Mhm.
everybody obviously gave it a chance. And WWE never made it a point to make the group a legitimate group. They never made it a point to legitimize Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, and it just, I mean, it stagnated, and then it just proceeded to them. Anybody that ever lived on the same brand as them that was Mexican had to be in the group. And
Mhm.
and obviously here we are now. But like I said, the match itself was good. It was a good match. It was kind of just, oh, okay, we're getting LWO versus Judgment Day. Alrighty then. Ray is putting Dom in his place, and he gives him a 619, and he's about to finish him off. And right as he does the 619 and he goes to do his frog splash afterwards, and Liv moves Dominic. Dominic then rolls up Rey Mysterio and gets the victory for himself and the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day then attack the LWO afterwards, which then led to the Terror Twins coming in for the save and helping um, uh, LWO chase off the Judgment Day. Yeah, so that was that. Like I said, it was an okay open. It was an okay open to Monday Night Raw. LWO kind of killed the vibe a little hardcore
Yeah.
in the open to that show. But other than that, man, I mean their promo was fine, and Damien and Rhea just getting their hands on Judgment Day, but not quite being able to get their hands on Dominic and Liv. Is has been a pretty good I guess roadblock for them up until this point, because it seems like every time they're right there and they're about to really beat the shit out of them, they run away or another member comes in and messes it all up, and they're not quite able to really lay it down on them, bro. But yeah, so I mean
Mhm.
that was about it. And yeah, like I said, it was a solid open.
It was solid open. Just like I said, it's the LWO. Can't get too hype about that.
Definitely. So afterwards, the Miz is backstage. He is talking about the importance of being in the Intercontinental Championship IC title tournament. Bronson Reed then walks in and he tells the Miz, "When I get done maiming Braun Strowman, I am coming back and I am going to maim you too." As the Miz is kind of just looking scared as fuck, and then Bronson walks away. Um, yeah, I mean this was pretty good. Also, the IC title tournament is not a tournament. It's
No.
it's it's a so over the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, we're going to be getting 4 triple threat matches. The winners
Fatal.
of those triple threat matches go on to be put in a fatal 4-way match where we're going to find the winner of that is going to be Braun's next opponent, I'm assuming for Bad Blood. Um
And tournament. Those are qualifying matches for a fatal four-way qualifying match.
Literally, it's not, which too, I mean, if you have, let's see, I mean, if you got, so that's 12 guys you got
Mhm.
all right there. Um, all you would have to do is probably add about 4 more, and you could have actually had yourself a nice little decent 16-man tournament.
Right.
Um,
That'd have been good.
Either that or skim out four guys, and you could have done a nice little 8-man tournament, similar to what they do for King of the Ring. But that was one thing I loved about the Cruiserweight Classic, and that was one thing I loved about the um, when Enzo relinquished the title when they did that ginormous tournament. I love tournaments that are ginormous like that, and
Just big.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean 8-mans are fine. 8-mans are fine,
Yeah, they do the job.
but yeah, I mean a 16-man. I mean it looks very prestigious. The giant bracket, and it really makes it look like you had to go through a lot of struggle to win the thing. It makes it look hard to win, and
It does.
yeah, but I mean this IC title tournament is not. It is not a
Mhm.
tournament. It is not a tournament.
No.
It is. I don't know
Right.
why they couldn't have thrown some guys. I mean, you easily got another 4 guys on the roster. You could have thrown in there. You could have even gave
Oh, yeah.
us 2 surprise picks from NXT. You could have gave us.
Exactly.
You could have gave us an Axiom, or you could have thrown in there a Nathan Frazier, or you could have thrown in there a Trick or a Sean Spears. I mean, you get the point. You get the point. You could have thrown a couple guys. You could have thrown at least 2 guys from NXT in there, made it a 16-man tournament, or like I said, you could have just skimmed out another 4 guys and just made an 8-man tournament. Um, but they could have. Dragunov is overseas wrestling Gunther on live events. That is what Dragunov. That is where Dragunov is doing. But he will be in one of the triple threat matches next week. He will. He will
That's
be in
good.
one of them next week. I believe it's Sheamus, Kaiser, and I forget. I have to look it up. But I know there's 2 other triple threat matches for next week. I think the other one is Dragunov, Dominic, and somebody else.
Again, Lee, I
I
think.
think it is Dragon Lee. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
But yeah, I really don't know why just leading up to this, they didn't just say, we're gonna do some qualifiers to see who's gonna, face Braun and do qualifiers for a qualifying fatal 4-way match instead of just lying and just saying that you're gonna have a tournament. Because at the end of the day, this isn't a tournament. I'm fine with what it is. It's just not a tournament, so I don't know why they called it that.
Definitely. Very, very misleading, for sure. But let's see. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. That was the other guy. I thought it was him. I just didn't want to say it. Okay. Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, and Bronson Reed is one triple threat,
Mhm.
and the other one is Dragunov, Dragon Lee, and Dominic.
Oh.
So, um, looking, they definitely looking a lot better than whatever the fuck we got this week. Those triple
Oh,
threat
boy.
matches, those were rough. But we'll get to those in a second. But yeah. So I mean, it is not a tournament. It's not a tournament. It's 4 qualifying matches to be put in a contender match. So again, there's nothing wrong with it. That's okay. That's okay if that's what they wanted to do. But it's
Be honest.
don't fucking promote a tournament, and it's not a tournament. It's qualifying matches to get in a number 1 contender match. So I don't know, bro. But well, this is Durante's part of the show, man. Damage Control defeated the Pure Fusion Collection, or the Collective. The Pure Fusion Collective. This one did its job. This is the kind of stuff we tune into Monday Night Raw for, man. This did its job. This
Yeah.
this entertained the masses. This put many wonderful people to sleep, and this feud continues to absolutely light up absolutely nobody. here on Monday nights, man. I mean, this is rough.
No, this was absolutely fucking rough, dude. I don't know what the fuck any of this shit is. I don't know what Cold Fusion Collective is. I don't know why Damage Control are doing what they're doing right now. I really don't. I don't get any of this, man. I really don't. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I don't know either, bro. Well, to make this more interesting, Zelina Vega comes back to cost Pure Fusion Collective the match after they attacked her like about a month and a half ago. I don't even remember when that was. I know it was a really long time ago, but they attacked Zelina Vega, and I guess somebody had to be put back on television because you know, the other guy was just on All In, but you know, Tony's taking him off effective immediately. So somebody's got to be bringing home the cash.
Exactly, man. And the thing is, you have Selena Vega, even though I don't like it, that she's in the LWO, she is in the group. So why didn't she help even the odds with, Liv Morgan in there and mix that up to help even their odds? Why did she show up for this and not that? I mean, I don't like her in the group in the first place, but like logic's logic here.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It would have made the most. It would have made, you know, it would have made sense for her. I mean, not damage control, pure fucking collection, whatever they're called. They took her out, so it does make sense there. But you know, it also definitely would have made a lot of sense for her to actually go out there and help her group, being that Liv Morgan was blatantly costing them matches. So, um, speaking of logic, Triple H, don't you think since you're scrolling around on IWC Twitter, I know you're scrolling around on IWC YouTube as well. Can you please fucking put Zelina Vega back with Andrade, because
Well,
this is no good. This is not fucking
no,
good at all.
it's just ass, dude. Like, what is going on here with this, bro? Why is she in these scenarios, bro? Get her with Andrade. They both need each other. And TV would just be much better off.
It would. It absolutely would. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know how they did it, but somebody took the reins from Karrion Kross to being the worst part of Monday Night Raw, and man, this stuff is just not good, bro. It is not.
No.
Um, so we get a tape, VHS tape from the Wyatt Six, from Bo Dallas. He says, "I stop to marvel at their accomplishments." He says, "And they nearly stepped on a serpent. We will not make the same mistake again. The false prophet continues to reveal himself to the world, masquerading as a loving shepherd while marching his lambs into the mouth of wolves. A bond forged in the tears of the innocent is not a family. It's blasphemy. We've given you. He says. Chad, we've given you chance after chance, inflicting fear and suffering, and you refuse to remove the scales from your eyes. Your ignorance is like a beast risen from the sea. We must cut off the head, so the blood of the damned rains down, washing away the sins of the wicked. I accept your challenge, your invitation. This is more than a reckoning. This is a purge." So this was his
Oh,
little
yeah.
pre-match promo. Dude, him with the fucking hair in front of his face. I don't know how that's not the
Dude.
look.
Like, bro, and his beard was like super like bigger and scruffier in
Yeah,
that package, dude. He looked fucking great. Like, obviously we'll get to it to the main event, but like,
yes.
bro, he doesn't need the Uncle Howdy
No.
covering. He doesn't. He's much better off. We say it a million times. As himself. Let him be Bo Dallas. Let him be Taylor Rotunda. Just let him be him. Because that's the best part about all this.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I definitely cannot wait to talk about the main event. Um, so Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, he comes out and he says, "Isn't it great to be alive in Providence on a Monday night?" He says he can keep going. He knows Punk's whole routine. The next part is he talks about himself, his favorite thing in the world, for 10 minutes, and then how the industry, and then how hot the industry is, and how they're selling out shows like he had anything to do with it because he sat on his arse for 8 years while the rest of us did the hard work. And then he gets on to the sentimental part about how little Timmy flew 239,000 miles from the moon to worship his Lord and Savior, CM Punk. He sits crisscross in the middle of the ring, and he says, "Do I have your attention now?" He says, "I'm not doing a bit. I'm not trying to be cute. All I'm doing is what I've always done. Tell you the truth. And that is that CM Punk is scared of Drew McIntyre." He says he's known this since the Royal Rumble, and especially since SummerSlam, because he keeps attacking me from behind every opportunity he gets. He says he keeps going even though he's scared because the people keep chanting his name every week. He asked the crowd if they know what an enabler is. He said it's someone who forces somebody to do something when that's detrimental to their well-being. He says it's like handing an alcoholic a drink. He says it's like handing an alcoholic a drink. Every time you guys chant his name, he gets a bigger ego. And he gets full of himself, and he makes dumb decisions, like challenging me to a strap match. And then he sobers up and realizes, "Oh no, Drew is gonna kill me." And that's exactly what I'm and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna be on all of you that chanted his name. And we're all gonna have to, and you all are gonna have to live with every scar that I put on his body. He says that you all have. Chosen nostalgia over the warrior that was there for you through the darkest times, and I still forgive you because you know not what you do. He says it's funny that there's a 50-cent piece of trash on his wrist that causes so much emotional hurt to Punk, and that's ironic because the weapon that Punk chose is going to end up causing so much physical damage or physical hurt to CM Punk, and I am going to whip him over and over. And then Punk's music played. He came out from under the ring. Punk was on fucking Instagram Live while he was under the
That
ring.
shit. Fucking love Punk, man. That is hilarious.
Just under the ring on IG Live, just waiting for your cue.
You just hear fucking McIntyre's promo in the background during it. That shit was hilarious.
It was, bro. So Punk comes out. He starts whipping Drew McIntyre. McIntyre gets a hold of the strap, and Punk ends up giving him a backdrop on the table as soon as he goes to whip Punk with it. And yeah, man. So that was that. It was very, very, very good promo by Drew McIntyre, and always good stuff by Drew. And yeah, I'm sort of glad that they did not have Punk on the mic tonight. Only because
Don't need it every week.
exactly, you don't need it every week, and you don't need it every week, and it's just at this point, I don't really know what he could have said that hasn't really been said already in this sort of scenario. And yeah, I mean, that was it. It didn't need to happen this week, so I'm glad that they kind of just had him do a run in and all that stuff. So yeah, man, I thoroughly enjoyed the promo, though. I thought it was very good stuff by Drew.
Yeah, I thought it was really great by Drew. I think he did a really good job in, conveying, the way people make Punk look. And I like it a lot. Never seen that before. That's great. And thought that was overall a great segment to build to their match.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it was definitely a great and last thing for sure before Bash in Berlin. So we get a triple threat match, the first of the two triple threat matches tonight. We have Jey Uso versus Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston. Karrion Kross is owning Kofi Kingston in the ring. He's got him in a submission hold. Kofi gets out of the submission hold. Karrion Kross ends up hitting him with a forearm, knocks Kofi down. Jey then goes to jump at Karrion Kross. Kross ducks, so Jey jumps over. He rolls through. He hits Kross with a spear, gets up on the top, hits him with a splash, and that was literally it. That was it.
Just beat him.
Yeah, there was no sort of really anything with Kofi and Xavier Woods, or Kofi and Karrion Kross. I mean, actually, speaking of Kofi and Xavier Woods, there was a little bit of a tease in the back. Kofi said, "Man, I'm so glad, you know, we've been a team, and you know, we're going 10 years strong, and you know, most people in this business, they don't know how to speak like men, and I'm glad in the New Day we can open up and talk to each other about how you were feeling and squash our problems." And he says, you know, I just tagged Odyssey last week because he was closer. And then he asked him about his gear. Kofi had very colorful gear. Xavier Woods had black and gray gear, and Xavier Woods said to Kofi, because Kofi had asked about it, he said to him, "Yeah, I talked to our gear guy, and I just I had him do something that just fits me a little more."
Interesting, man. Interesting. And that kind of leads into my main gripe with these triple threats tonight, man, is you have Kofi in one and you have Woods in another, and they're a part of a good storyline on Raw so far. Overall, it became interesting as time went on. But you didn't do anything with either of those two in their respective matches. You didn't have maybe Kofi win one, Xavier didn't win the other, you know, drama, reverse, or even both of them winning their respective matches. So something happens in that fatal four-way, nothing. Just nothing to do any of that with
Yep,
their storyline. This was your perfect opportunity, and you didn't do a single thing with it.
nothing.
Fucking waste.
It was, and I thought for sure Xavier would have at least maybe won his, or at least maybe came
Yeah.
close to winning his, or I thought at least maybe they would be put in one together.
Same. Yeah, either the same one or like even during like Xavier's, maybe Kofi would have tried to come out to help him,
Yep.
and doesn't work out, and again, Woods gets mad at Kofi, or again, either one of those two winning their matches where the other didn't. Nothing, not a single thing, just this completely separate person won both of those matches.
Yeah, because what I envisioned was Kofi losing his, but
And Woods
Xavier
winning.
winning his, and then during the Fatal
Yeah,
Four Way, I imagine Karrion Kross coming out to try to sabotage it for Woods. Kofi comes out to make the save, but he accidentally ends up, like, I don't know, costing
so,
Xavier the match. Um,
yeah,
I imagine,
distracting him and shit.
yeah, I imagine something like that. They both lost, and they were both a non-factor in each of their match. They didn't even
It's
take
like
the pin, which, with that logic, you could have at least had, like,
let's take
Xavier
the
take
pin.
the pin or something like that. But no, they
Something.
both they both were a non-factor in either of their matches. Instead, loser Cross got literally got speared, splashed consecutively, and then just lost. This guy is just,
The
you know,
epitome of failure.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. His story since coming back to WWE is like he sort of sends people off the rails, which I like. I mean, he talked
Yeah,
about it during his feud with I can't remember, but he talked about it during one of his feuds, how he made Nakamura lose his honor, and he made the bloodline. Like he predicts, right? He predicts a lot of the stuff that eventually happens. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's a really cool, crux to a character. It almost reminds me of The Fiend a little, how everybody The Fiend faced changes, whether it's appearance or morality or, they're
Oh,
yeah, something about them changes, right? And I like how
mhm.
Cross predicts these kind of things, and once he says them, it's almost like him speaking it into the universe is, bad omen or whatever, because it actually ends up coming true. And I like that. I do, but I just wish the guy saying the shit wasn't completely uninteresting and looked like a complete dork on the show.
Exactly.
He just
There's a super loser.
he is. He really fucking is, man. And yeah, Jay beat him here, and uh, I'm glad Jay's in the match. I'm glad. I know Rikishi's happy. I didn't really see any of these other two um winning anyways. But I mean, we'll talk a little bit more when we get to the other triple threat. But I fully
Yeah.
expected Jay to win this one, so it looks like he's not going to AEW.
Overall. No. Rikishi, man. Someone needs to take his damn phone away or stop interviewing him or something. But yeah, I fully expected it with this one. It was really the other one that was like the nail in the coffin for me. Like, it's like, damn, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. We get a video. Um, everybody's on Instagram tonight, bro. Gunther, he posts a video that was posted on his Instagram, and he was talking about how he is in Germany and he is defending his championship on the live shows. But he says, rest assured, he is still focused on Randy Orton and he is still focused on Bash in Berlin on Saturday night, man. Um, so yeah, that was the short little recap I guess we got from Gunther, being that WWE let them go for a while, man. They've been in Germany since the last week, the middle of last
Mm-hmm.
week.
Literally.
So that was very
Taking
generous.
all, yeah.
Yeah, that was very generous of WWE to let both him and Kaiser go early. Probably what I'm assuming to, just catch up, see the family, and see the family you
Exactly.
probably haven't seen in God knows how long. So that was very generous of WWE for sure.
Definitely, definitely. I'm glad they did that for them.
Yeah, and I seen them posting pictures of their dinner and talking about and saying how much they
A
well,
fucking picture.
yeah, the dude, they had like a whole fucking Thanksgiving. They had like a whole Thanksgiving table and talking about how much they missed the food from Germany, bro. So, golly,
Hilarious.
man. But yeah. Uh, well, so Jesus, I seen a post, and the reason I'm laughing, I seen a post, and wrestling fans are just the fucking wrestling fans of the internet are just something else. But yes, I did see a post of them. They got like a whole Thanksgiving feast, and I guess talking about how much they missed the food from Germany and stuff. So very cool to see, and like I said, very generous of WWE. You would never fucking catch Vince in a million years. You would never catch him
Oh
in a
god.
million. You would never let him let his world champion go take a vacation. God forbid the world champion needs to take a vacation for a week and a half to go home and just see
No.
family,
No.
bro. So
Fucking Brock did it fucking every day, but if someone else did it, it would be. And if it was Vince, bro, they would have been, Bumblefuck, Ohio this week. Having to show up to work.
yep, I'll never forget when they made Finn Balor come home all the way from Ireland on Christmas. He had to leave home. He had to leave home on Christmas, fly all the way to wherever they were that week to have a squash match against Kurt Hawkins. Are you fucking
Oh
serious? You
man.
made me fucking fly all the way home. You made me leave my family on Christmas to come fucking fight
Man,
Kurt Hawkins?
Vince was evil, man. Yeah.
What an asshole, man. So, speaking of Gunther, man, his opponent, Randy Orton, he comes out for a promo. He says, Randy says most of his career, he listened to the voices in his head. But as of late, he's been listening to all of ours. He says thank you. He also says thank you for singing his theme music, because it means the world to him, even though it took us 15 years. but thank you. I will say we were the pioneers at Survivor Series. It was just us singing the song, but we were
It
singing it.
was.
You
You know,
know,
look at it now. Everyone fucking sings it.
yep. Then we
People
get
always copying us.
they really are, man. And then we get to Backlash in May, and then everybody started singing it, and everybody caught on ever since, bro. So he says it took us 15 years, but thank you. He says, Providence, I have won a lot of world championships over the years, but the one that is most special to me is the World Heavyweight Championship, because I was the first, because that was my first one that I won, and I am the youngest champion of all time. He says, also, 10 years ago, I unified the two world championships that we had at the time, and in that moment, I retired the World Heavyweight Championship with me being the last one to hold it. And with me being the last one to hold it. And a year ago, the new World Heavyweight Championship was born, and I wasn't here. I was on my couch recovering from spinal fusion surgery, and I knew, by the grace of God, if I was able to come back, I would do everything to make sure that I get to engrave my name on the World Heavyweight Championship again. And this Saturday in Berlin, I get that opportunity. New title, new World Championship, new legacy. Okay. Interesting. Interesting choice of words there, Mr. Orton. He says he knows he'll be stepping into enemy territory, and I will be facing a living legend to the people in Europe. And I'm also facing a man who has his head so far up his own ass that he has no idea he will be facing the most dangerous, decorated, controversial, but yet successful superstar this industry has ever seen. He says, Randy says he grew up in front of all of us, and we've watched him get humbled over and over and learn from his mistakes until he had to step out from his own shadows and take them out one by one. And earn every ounce of respect that comes with his name. He says when Gunther stepped foot in WWE, he was a 30-something-year-old egotistical, or he was 30-something years old and he was egotistical. That might be the one thing they had in common. But the difference is Orton says he was humbled, and Gunther has yet to be put in his place. He says all this ever had to be about was the World Heavyweight title, but Gunther had to make it personal. He had to talk about my family and my share of demons. Orton says each one of those demons was a tougher opponent than Gunther will ever be, and I still beat them, just like I'm going to beat you on Saturday. He says he's going to do it by using the most destructive letters in sports entertainment. L-O-A.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Hell yeah.
You don't want to hear those three letters.
Randy Orton, Tongalola. Hell yeah. Just Lola.
Shit would be nuts. Like he was in the Rising. Wrestling's pumping through his blood.
Yeah, it is, man.
That was on his name was Micah.
Legendary promo.
No, but he said, the most destructive letters in sports entertainment, RKO. Not Tonga, not LOA, guys, not Loa. Not Loa. It was but dude, this was great. This was a great promo. Orton's great on the mic. It's always great to hear Orton talking about they did a A&E biography on Randy Orton, and it's one of their longer ones they've ever done. It was like 2 hours. And my God, does he just have a crazy story, bro? He has a crazy story of, and I always love him, talking about, his fair share of demons and growing up in front of us and all this kind of stuff. And it's just great, man. So, although I do wish we would have gotten one more promo battle between Gunther and Orton face to face, this still was a very good way of leaving the final. Leaving their match on a good tone. I think they left their match on a good tone here, and I think they definitely built excitement to their match on Saturday, Saturday morning for us, Saturday night. But no, I think this left everything on a good tone, and I think this was a good way to leave it. Obviously, with Gunther not being there.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I think Randy did a fucking great job. I loved his promo. I really do like Babyface Orton. I like him a lot.
I
I
do.
really do. Especially in his age. I think heel Orton can be played out. I think it was played out for many years. Um, really happy with the version we get now, man. Like I said, promo was great. Love when he talked about his past and whatnot. Now he's got a, humble Gunther like he was humbled, and I really like what they did tonight, man. And I'm excited for the match, man. I think I wasn't too sure about doing Gunther and Orton at the pay-per-view at this one, but I think they showed that it was a fine option.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, um, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are in the back talking about how Jade and Bianca get all the attention, all the media, and all the interviews, but that does not do them any good when the bell rings. I'll tell you what, it certainly doesn't fucking do Jade Cargill any good. Um,
Yeah, Bianca's fine. It's Bianca, but fucking Jade, man.
ooh,
Fuck.
yeah, it was rough. She says they're going to expose Jade and Bianca for the frauds they are and walk out of Berlin as champions. Unfortunately, I think those belts are going right back on Jade and Bianca.
Oh, 100%. The fucking company loves those two. And I'm sure they're not ready for their singles feud yet, so
Yeah.
it's just gonna be another tag team run.
Yes, that's exactly what it's going to be. So that was that, and they probably will expose Jade Cargill, like they said in their promo here. But at the end of the day, WWE is going to continue pushing her, and they're going to continue doing whatever they can to make her a superstar. So yeah, man, that is that. I
Exactly.
just hope she comes along because um, whenever we do see her in a singles capacity, it's very similar to what we've seen in AEW. And then obviously they put her in a tag team with Bianca to cover up her flaws. And still, what we see from her is it needs work. So, yeah.
No, exactly.
Um, so Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, dude.
Man,
Triple
that
H
shit.
just this man just woke up one day and was just like, you know what? We're just gonna fucking ball out with Bronson Reed for the next month. Going for
All they have.
dude, yeah, no kidding.
Fuck.
So the match did not end. It ended up being a no contest. The match was just thrown out as during the match, Bronson started walking away, and Braun chased him. The referee chased him to the back. These guys were fighting throughout the backstage area. They ended up getting out into the parking lot, and Braun threw a scaffolding at Bronson Reed. Bronson moved, and it hit the car. He then pounced on Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed fell on the hood of a car, and he was so sweaty he slipped right off. And
Right on the concrete, dude.
dude,
That
right,
was
oh
oh, that was a brutal. I don't know how many people tonight are talking about that bump. That was the worst one, dude. Bro, that man
yeah,
slid right off that fucking hood,
dude,
right onto his arm, right on the
oh
fucking concrete.
that looked
Brutal.
bad. Oh man, that looked
Oh,
bad.
what the?
Um, so Bronson gets Braun laying on top of a car hood, because they're fighting on top of a car. Bronson grabs a pipe, starts smacking the shit out of Braun Strowman's back with it. Like, you literally hear the thuds on his flesh. Bronson then looks up, and there is, a concrete slab that, kind of, is kind of the wall for the arena parking lot or whatever, so nobody could see in there. Bronson looks up at it, and he starts climbing the production crates. He gets up on, he gets up on this, concrete slab that's high above the parking lot. Braun's laying on top of this car. Bronson fucking tsunamis Braun Strowman on the car hood, and the car basically just like fell in on itself, and the car started steaming afterwards, and there was a bit of an electrical flare, a bit of an electrical zap when that happened, and man, did that look fucking incredible, dude. Did that look incredible?
Oh,
That looks
they
so
set
good.
that up amazing. Exactly, dude. The crunch from the hood, from the roof, was perfect, man. Like you said, the little electrical sparks that they had coming out of, kind of with the dash and shit, and the interior, fucking phenomenal, dude. That shit that's the kind of shit I want to see from a brawl or from like a street fight type match, dude. Which just, wasn't. It was just no DQ, but same thing. Um, Fucking incredible. Love that type of shit. Loved this.
Very, very good. Very good, man. Yeah, this was tremendous. This was tremendous. We come back from commercial. Braun is, telling the doctors that he can't feel his fingers. And all Michael Cole says is the latest we got on Bronson Reed is after that happened, he got up on his own accord and walked away.
God,
Man, they are.
that
God,
man is
it goes to
built
show
different.
if WWE wants to fucking strap that rocket to you, like for a
They
long
can,
time,
dude.
it seemed like Bronson wasn't getting over with the crowd and he was kind of just there, just doing random stuff. But it really goes to show if WWE puts that stock into you, bro, getting over with the crowd, if you're as good as somebody like Bronson Reed, it's no big deal. It'll happen in
It's
no
really
time.
easy. You just gotta do cool shit, man, and the people will love you, and they're loving Bronson Reed, man. And it's about fucking time that they did this with him, man, and it's
Yes.
fucking great to see.
Absolutely, man. He's yeah, absolutely fantastic is Bronson Reed, and they are making that man into a stud. They really are.
Mhm.
So the next match was the second of triple threat matches on the night. Pete Dunne, Miz, and Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods pinned Miz, and I believe it was after his elbow. He pinned Miz, and Pete Dunne pulls the ref out, gets in the ring, throws Xavier Woods out of the ring, hits Miz with a bitter end, and wins. A complete fucking non-factor is both members of the New Day in these triple threat matches when they could have played into their story very well, and they could have used these triple threat matches for the IC title opportunity as a vehicle to tell the story better, or at least progress it better.
Literally, man, did nothing with either of those two in their respective matches. Didn't further their story through these matches at all. When you had the perfect opportunity to, just let it go to waste.
I don't get it. I
Not at
don't get
all.
it, man. Um, so yeah, Pete Dunne wins. So Pete Dunne and Jey Uso are two out of the four members of the Fatal 4-Way match. And as for the other ones, um, I could see, uh, huh. Let's see. I don't know if you want to. I mean, you could. Yeah. All right. If I was booking it, I would put the other two members. I would do Bronson and I would do Dragunov.
Oh yeah,
Because
sounds like a match to me, man.
yeah, Jay, Pete Dunne, Dragunov, and Bronson Reed sounds good to me. I would not do Ludwig Kaiser. I would not. And then
No,
if you wanted to do Dragon Lee, that wouldn't be bad, but I
that
wouldn't
is
do
fun.
Dominic either. So
No,
I wouldn't do Dominic. Yeah, I mean he's kind of tangled with the whole Judgment Day stuff, so I wouldn't really see the point of doing that. But I mean Dragon Lee would be okay if you wanted to maybe do something with the guy. Give him a little bit of a spotlight or whatever. But if I'm booking this, I would do Bronson from the one, and I would do Bronson from the one and Dragunov from the other. Jay Dragunov, Pete Dunne, and Bronson Reed. Sounds like a plan to me, man. As
it
to
does.
who you have win that, I would say Jay. I would say Jay, and I would have this be the last thing of substance you do with Jay Uso before he has to go back and do his bloodline stuff.
They even kind of. It looks like it's most likely going to be Jay anyway, with the promo that Brett Breaker gave tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is going to be Jay, and I think that would be fine for his last singles moment for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Braun Breaker, speaking of that backstage interview, they asked him what he thought of the two winners of tonight's triple threat matches, and Braun says, to be honest, bravo to both men. He tells Jey Uso to keep his mouth shut because there's never been a member of his family to beat up a member of mine. There's never been a member of your family to beat up a member of mine. He says, as for Pete Dunne, I mean, come on. He says, I mean, come on. I don't think so. And that that
Damn.
was that, that was all he had to say about Pete Dunne, man. So, yeah, I guess he's not taking him seriously whatsoever. A decent little sit down or a decent little interview with Braun Breaker here, as him, I guess, just kind of giving his brief thoughts on his challengers so far.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I like that. I like what he said about Jay. Didn't like really what he said about Pete Dunne. Put a little respect on my man's name. I mean, he was fucking. How long was his UK title on? Like fucking 400 something days or something. It was
I
a
thought it was
minute.
like 7
Um,
because he
yeah,
won.
yeah. It was. It was like 7.
Yeah,
It
because he
was six.
won it. He won it in June of 2017. He lost it in April of 2019.
Oh, yeah,
So it was
it was a
about
long.
680 days.
I think it was like, yeah, I think it was the high 600s, and that's a thing that happened earlier in the night with his triple threat. Um, on commentary, I think it was Corey that said he's never won a singles title in WWE, and then Michael Cole had to correct him with the UK title, and I was like,
Good,
how do you forget that? I
good.
was like, good lord, I'm glad Michael Cole corrected him, man. But like, dang, they ain't gonna have Braun say anything about that.
poor
Thank God.
poor Corey, bro. He's still on that. He's still on that Vince wave. Remember
He
when?
is.
Remember when
If it
the
wasn't a mid it didn't
Yep,
count.
yep. I remember
Yeah,
they did. They said that with Sanity. They said that with the War Raiders, even though they fucking debuted with the
with
NXT
the
tag
title.
titles, and they still tried to
Oh,
say they've never won titles in WWE. Yes, Pete
insane.
Dunne was 685 days. Walters was 870.
Fucking A, man. Legendary. But yeah.
Um, man, these are some good reigns, bro. Dragunov
You,
was Dragunov was 319.
yeah, bro, that UJ title was goated, man. Looked great and had good runs.
Yep.
Fucking good run from that title, man. From its existence.
Yeah, from the year of 2017 to 2022, so what is that, about 5 years? They only
Mm-hmm.
had
4 champs.
5 champions and technically 4 if you count Tyler
Yeah,
Bate having 2 reigns.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was, yeah, 5, but 4 people that won it. Crazy. Great run.
Yeah, it was great, man. Long reigns, they meant something. The match quality was tremendous. Good title. Miss that title.
It really was. I mean, it looked so good, dude.
Yeah.
Especially at the time in like 2017 when all their titles were fucking rainbow and shit.
That
That
US
title was
title.
just,
Oh god.
oh, fucking hell, man. And like nowadays, it would kind of blend in nicely with all the good quality, man. But that one at the
Yeah.
time was such a standout title.
Mhm.
Miss it so much.
Yep. Yeah, it was a great title. Um Chad Gable. Chad Gable. He's in the back. He's he's in the back working out, and he's bench pressing, and he puts the weights down and he sits up and he says, "Howdy, you call me a false prophet? I'm not the one who hides behind a mask and sends his family out to do his dirty work every week while I watch. That's all you, homie." He's fucking love Gable. He's
I'm telling you.
he says, "I know the man behind the mask, and tonight the bell is going to ring and everyone is going to find out you're an ordinary guy. And you're going to tap out just like an ordinary guy, and you're going to find out that you've been dealing with a guy who's anything but ordinary. I'm a genius, I'm a master, I'm an Olympian, and the guy that's going to lead the Creeds and Ivy Nile to greatness. And tonight you're going to find out that I am American made." That is
Oh yeah,
hard.
dude.
I've
That was
really
pretty
come
hard.
I really come to love the name American made. I think that's pretty sick.
It, I have. From the past few weeks, they really turned that name into something really good.
Yeah. Especially, man, it's all a lot of times, dude, in wrestling, bro, it's all about the delivery of things, and the way Chad Gable delivers that line, it's always great.
Yeah, exactly.
So nothing like Chad Gable calling Uncle Howdy homie.
You
Very
homie.
funny choice of words. That's all you, homie. Um, the Terror Twins are in the back, cutting a promo on Dominic and Rhea, where Rhea says something in Spanish, and Damian Priest, in typical Damian Priest fashion, decides to deliver that last line. And remember how I just said like 5 seconds ago, delivery is everything when it comes to promos and wrestling? Damian Priest has got to be just top 5 in just, this motherfucker can't deliver anything.
Oh, bro, dude, he is the staff in the heart for promos. It just takes it down.
Like, beginning and middle of the promo, he's fine. Once we get to that end, he just, oh brother. Rhea
It
says
just,
Rhea says something in Spanish, and Damien puts his arm around her and he goes, "Basically what that means is we are your devils and we're coming for you." Like, what? What? Fucking Damian Priest, bro. You gotta fucking love him. You gotta love the guy.
he
God,
tries.
dude, he tries so hard and it just does not fucking stick. Anytime,
It does
it is
not.
never stuck. It's never fucking
Mm.
stuck. And that laugh after he delivers a line, that laugh just kills it. It always makes me fucking die
Oh,
laughing. Um,
oh,
first of all, we are your devils and we're coming for you.
okay.
Couldn't have thought of anything better than that. I mean,
Like, oh, your opponents are like darker, edgier people too, so I don't think that's very scary to them. Like, I don't understand.
good old Priest. Actually, we watched the Damian Priest WWE 24 this past All In weekend. Very good, very good
Really?
documentary. Very inspiring story, very good story. Just overall great documentary and just a great piece of work, man. I thought they did a really good job with Priest, and I thought they did a really good job with Priest's story. I mean, and just telling his story and stuff. I thought it was a really good documentary, and I really want to see them do more with those documentaries from now on for sure.
Definitely, man. I miss them. I miss just them pumping them out with every pay-per-view to get a documentary.
Yep.
I miss it, and I hope they continue that because it was really good.
Those are the kind of things when AEW gets their deal that I hope they do as well.
Yes, dude, I would love documentaries from so many other guys.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, you have so many guys on the roster that have so many cool stories. A lot of them come from Japan. A lot of them come from, WWE. A lot of them just a lot of guys on the roster just have
Mhm.
very very interesting stories. I mean, Swerve, that's a guy that is a world champion that got fucking released. That means the company,
Exactly.
Vince
Been
saw
valuing,
nothing in him. He went on to
and he
become one of AEW's best world champions.
oh, easy one of their best, man. And it's like, so Darby Allin, his story is
Oh my
insane.
god.
Sting, he has a fucking great story you could tell. Dude, so many MJF,
CM
all
Punk.
these people you see.
All out, brawl out.
You gotta save that one for Vice TV. I don't think Max is gonna cover that one, but
True. Very true.
you got so many people to have stories about, man, and we need it. I need those documentaries.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they got a bunch of Brian Danielson. Uh,
Yes. Brody, a Brody doc, dude. Like
ooh,
all that shit we need.
oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff they could do, and I hope WWE does more of it because they've slowed down, man. I mean, back in 2016 and 17, those things were just getting pumped out. Um,
You had one with every pay-per-view, man. It was a part of the weekend. You had Takeover, the doc, and the main roster pay-per-view. You were filled, dude. It
yep,
was great.
yep. Definitely. It was great stuff, and I hope they go back to that. However, the main event: Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable. Uncle
True that.
Howdy had okay, first of all, before we even talk about Uncle Howdy, bro, Chad Gable and his attires, golly, those things are nice, bro. His attire, like
Really nice.
his attires have always been really nice. The ones with American Alpha, like honestly, dude, for everybody that I've seen ever wear a singlet, I think Chad Gable is the best
He's the best.
and just
Mm-hmm.
has the most just unique, just really cool designs when it comes to his singlets. I think his singlets look the best out of anybody that I've ever seen wear a singlet. And I've seen a lot of really cool singlets, man. I think Kurt has great singlets. I think Braun Breaker has great singlets. I think Wardlow has really
Mm-hmm.
nice singlets. But man, Chad Gables are just really, really beautiful. I mean, this man's out here wearing WrestleMania gear, WrestleMania type
He is,
gear. That shit's so nice. Yeah, he looked great, dude. The American Olympic style gear, dude, with the white boots. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gear. Um,
it is.
Uncle Howdy. All right, so I'm gonna be honest. Tonight, what we saw on Monday Night Raw, I wasn't a big fan of, in my opinion. Um, so I know we were getting Uncle Howdy as a part. I know. This wasn't advertised as Bo Dallas versus Chad Gable. This was advertised as Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable. In terms of him wrestling, no problem. I obviously think Bo's great in the ring. He did okay. I like the callbacks to Bray and all that stuff. I like all that stuff. That wasn't the problem I had. The entrance was great and stuff. I think for the most part it went good. Where my problem comes in is the attire.
Mm-hmm.
it looks bad. Okay, I'm gonna just be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Howdy is a
It's
great
not
talking figure for
great.
promos, for the silhouette, the cinematic aspect of it, the cinematic part of the wrestling. Uncle Howdy's great. Uncle Howdy's great for it. In the ring, that looked bad. It did.
Mm-hmm.
And again, take it from me. I am, dude, I am one of the biggest Wyndham Rotunda fans. I'm one of the biggest. Not even just a Bray Wyatt character, but
That
the
whole gimmick of things.
the man Wyndham Rotunda, his creativity. I'm one of the biggest. He is one of my idols. I'm one of the biggest fans of his work. And this is coming from me, so take it from me. And you guys know how much, I mean, it was well documented how much I've been rooting for the Wyatt Six to succeed. And overall, I don't think that, you know, what happened tonight was
Nothing.
a failure. I don't think it killed the group or anything. I'm just telling you guys my concerns. I think it looked bad. I think it looked bad. And the reason I think it looked bad is because, see, this all goes back to when the Wyatt Six, the faction part of the group, or the multi-man part of the group debuted. Why did I not say anything about that? Because they weren't out there wrestling in costumes. Uncle
Mm-hmm.
Howdy is out there wrestling in a mask that has hair so long it's down to his ass. You can see globs of his real hair out of the mask, like literally on the top of his head. You just see a ginormous patch of brown hair that is just sticking out of the mask. And again, the hair is just it is way too fucking long, and it gets in the way. You can clearly tell, like, it's a wig, so it's moving around, and just he at random points. What's the point of wearing a mask if every time he moves, a giant glob of fucking hair is covering up, a giant glob of gray fake hair is covering up his head?
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, made the appearance of it very bad. And judging off what we got earlier in the night with that look, I talked about that look during that Wyatt VHS tape, where he's sitting in the chair, he has his hair down in front of his face, almost very Bray Wyatt reminiscent. He's got the big beard. And I'm thinking to myself, while I'm watching this tape, I'm thinking to myself, man, you mean to tell me they're going to have him go out there and wrestle in this Uncle Howdy mask and not capitalize on that look? He's got great facial expressions. Why are you covering that up? To me, the apparent and him wrestling in like a button-up dress vest wasn't it. The attire, and again, I don't mean this to shit on the group in any way. I'm literally not going to explain myself, dude. You guys know how big of a fan I am of this group and of the whole Wyatt universe. Bro, that looked bad. The attire, man, it really looked bad. To put it blunt to you guys, man, it looked bad, and I wasn't a fan of it, and I do not want to see him continue to wrestle like that, because the rest of the group wrestled, and they wrestled in their attire, and they looked fine. Look at like what Bray used to wrestle in, how he kind of used to wrestle in kind of like those all black like biker pants, and they had all these ripples and stuff in it. And then he wrestled in a top, and it was, you know, it was a tank, it was a, you know, a cut off tank top, whatever you want to call it. And it just had a cool design on it. I wasn't a fan I mean, his pants were fine, but I mean, dude, the shirt, the dress shirt with just the mask, dude, it doesn't look good to wrestle in. It doesn't look good. And again, dude, to put it just blunt, I did not like it. I didn't like it. I really didn't like Uncle Howdy out there wrestling. I thought the hair was just all over the place, and like I said, you just got globs of his fucking real hair poking out of the mask. It's just like, it just looked bad, man. But but yeah, I mean, what did before we get on to the match, man, what did you think about just everything is aesthetically?
Oh, I didn't like it either, man. Which, we'll get to the match, and I'm glad the match side of it was, that concern was squashed for me. I was really scared that they were just gonna have him fiend it up in there, gonna let him do like 4 different types of moves and call it a day, and he was allowed to wrestle. The only thing that impeded him was that fucking hair. That he literally every 2 seconds he was fucking flicking it out of his face.
Yep.
Um, and that kind of nuisance, it wasn't worth the look that he had. I didn't, like you said, I didn't like the look either, man. I don't think he should be wrestling in costume. Especially when the rest of his faction came to the match, they weren't in costume. Why is he in costume, but they don't have to be? That's the thing that annoyed me about the fact that he was in the Uncle Howdy costume, but Bo Dallas has a great look. Even with the shorter beard that he had, like the Braydock, that was a great look too.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a great look. I don't know why they aren't allowing him to wrestle as himself. Did not like the look. I don't think he should be wrestling in that type of shit. I think it looked bad, physically. The attire was bad. It got in his way multiple times in the match. With the hair, dude, the hair literally caught on to one of the production fucking screens. Like it was such a mess with the hair and the attire. Just let him wrestle as himself. Let him be himself. And that's the big improvement you need to make. Because, like I said, a lot of other concerns were squashed in this match, but that attire, that, wrestling as that character, not it, man. You gotta stop all that shit. You gotta let him be Bo Dallas when he wrestles and wrestle as himself, a human.
100%, 100%. That was all. That was about all I could think about, dude. During the whole entire match, man. It's just like this hair is so long, and obviously it's a wig, so it's gonna be a lot more. The hair is gonna have a life of its own, and it's gonna be a little heavier and stuff, and it's gonna kind of flail around, and he's gonna have less control of it because the hair is so long, and it's a wig, and again, his whole head has gray hair, and you just see a giant glob of brown hair, dark brown hair, just sticking out of it. Uh, I mean, it looked really bad, dude. But the match itself, the match itself was okay. He was, he was for the most part able to go out there and wrestle and do his thing, man. But uh, the ref got knocked down in the match. Um, the ref got knocked down in the match. Chad Gable went to go and he kind of nodded his shoulders like he was about to go do something he probably wasn't supposed to be doing. And Uncle Howdy then put him in the mandible claw. And the other thing I didn't like, that giant fucking dragon scale wrist gauntlet he was wearing. That thing
Yeah,
was ginormous.
I know they tried to be like, it was made from a piece of the original Fiend gear. That's cool and all. But it didn't look good. It looked like he had a fucking cosplay Roman Reigns red glove around his hand.
It looked, and I genuinely think that they have a piece similar to that you can put on your Create a Superstar in 2K. I
They do.
legitimately think.
Oh, 100%.
I was gonna say, I remember I spent a lot of time on the community creations back in the day. There is like a giant dragon scale. It looks like something fucking Luchasaurus would wear.
It
Um,
does.
and again, for your entrance, go ahead, knock your socks off, wear it. Fine with me. But dude, a giant bulky wrist gauntlet like that, it just did not look visually pleasing, dude. It didn't look visually pleasing. So anyways, the ref goes down and the rest of American Made comes out. The Creed brothers, they're attacking Uncle Howdy, and he starts laughing. And the lights go out. The rest of the Wyatt Six come out there. No Nikki Cross today. No Nikki Cross. It was just Rowan, Loomis,
Mm,
and Gacy. And they chased off the Creeds. Chad Gable was in the ring. He went to run at Uncle Howdy, and he got hit with a Sister Abigail. And that was it. But again, the entrance was great. The match was great. I like, I like that they let him go out there and wrestle. But again, we really got to fix these things, and we should fix them early in the run, before it's too late. Because again, Uncle Howdy wrestling was just not visually pleasing. And if this is what we're gonna get from Uncle Howdy wrestling, this is exactly why I wanted Bo Dallas to be out there wrestling,
mhm.
because that just was, it was bad. It was bad. It was
It
not
was
visually pleasing at all. Like I said, it looked like he was fucking with his costume um, more than he
the whole
should have
time.
been.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, and again, I can't help but notice a giant glob of hair trying to poke through the mask, or trying to poke through the hair that's on the mask. And yeah, it looked yeah, and I mean the mask is so, the mask, it's a big mask. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It should not be wrestled in, man. It just
Mm,
looks odd. Like, again, why can't we just have Bo Dallas out there wrestling? Why do we have to have him out there in fucking costumes?
exactly.
Um
The Fiend visually worked in the ring because the mask was a mask that was all around his face at once, and he had hair that was his own hair.
yep.
That was it was dreads. It was heavy dreads. They were almost always back, and there was maybe one or two strands in the front, but it wasn't just a fucking wall of hair in his face at all times.
Yeah,
That's why
and
that worked, and that's why this doesn't.
your own hair, you're going to be able to move with your head. You're going to be able to move it around at your leisure. Again, with
Exactly.
a wig is going to be heavier. You know
The
what I mean? It's going to
one
be
thing.
heavier, and it's going to, again, have a life of its own. And as we've seen tonight, it's going to be all in his fucking face. And he can't, a wig is heavier. He's not going to be able to move it with his head like how Bray or like Roman or those kind of guys kind of just would flick their head back, and, their hair would get out of their face. This man would physically have to take his hand multiple times throughout the match and move the hair out of his face. That was not visually pleasing, and he has long hair. Why do we have to have him wrestle in a fucking mask that has long hair? Um,
Don't get that.
I don't get it at all. And again, that needs to stay a mask. Can we please just fucking see Taylor Rotunda, Bo Dallas out there wrestling? Because again, it was not visually pleasing. And I was not a fan of the attire that was chosen upon for Uncle Howdy. I thought it was just, I thought it was too much, man. It was too much, and it was something that doesn't look like it has a long shelf life. Again, not saying that as the Wyatt Six don't have a long shelf life. I'm saying this
Well,
doesn't look like a world champion act. It doesn't look
no,
like a
it doesn't.
legitimate guy on the roster. It looks like something goofy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
When all the other guys just a couple weeks ago
Right?
were out there. And hey, like I said, if you want to wear your mask for your entrance, they're badass masks. All five of them are badass masks. If you want to go out there, wear your mask for the entrance, wear your gauntlet for the entrance, go the fuck ahead. Go right ahead. They look great. They're great masks. But to sit there and wrestle in, it's just much. It's just too much. It's too much. And again, Bo, who you've seen through weeks of these VHS tapes, his facial expressions. You really want to cover that
They're
up?
great. Like, I don't get it.
It is just, man, it is yeah, it's something I do not want to see. I do not want to see him continue to wrestle as Uncle Howdy. I want to see him wrestle as Bo Dallas, because tonight proved and I was going to wait. I wasn't going to say anything, when this originally was all happening, because I wanted to give it time, and I wanted to see how it would look, and here we are. And it did not look good. It did not look good. And again, why are you putting the guy in a mask? He has great facial expressions. He tells a great story with his facial expressions alone. So
Exactly.
I don't know. It's definitely something that is concerning, and I hope that WWE moves forward in a different direction and does not have him wrestle in the Uncle Howdy mask anymore, because it is just not.
Really.
It did not look good. It did not look good, and again, if you want to wear the mask for the entrance, go ahead. It's a great mask, and it'll look great for your entrance. To wrestle in, no.
No. Exactly. It's simple as that. Just no.
Um, yeah, man, and that was the debut of Uncle Howdy. Other than that, the in-ring stuff looked great. The entrance looked great. And two, even when he wins the match, he drops to his knees and he's going to do the Wyatt pose. And again, he has to take his hand
No.
and flip his hair back and then do the pose because the hair was all in his fucking face.
Mhm.
I could have seen this coming from a mile away, and I do not know how anybody there couldn't have seen this coming from a mile away. And I guess they learned the hard way, because yeah, again, it did not look good, bro. It did not look
No.
good in the slightest. But other than that, I thought Chad Gable sold his ass off. I thought he did great, and I thought Uncle Howdy in the ring did very good. And
Right.
I thought Bo was able to wrestle, and he did great.
Yeah. And you really did, man.
But yes, so those are my concerns, and those are the positives and the negatives behind the Uncle Howdy debut on Monday Night Raw, man. So yeah, and that was it for this edition of Monday Night Raw, and that is everything for episode 210 of Unscripted here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. And that is going to do it for another great edition of NHP Unscripted. Thank you guys so very much, man. And yeah, with that being said, it has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
No, it's okay.
And that is going to do it here today for your episode 210 of Unscripted. Thank you guys so very much for joining us, man. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please like... Oh, wait. Oh, I know, I already did that part. My bad. With that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 210 of Unscripted. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you all on Friday with the news and the Bash in Berlin 2024 predictions.
Peace.